Hello, 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 everybody. This is April Showers Network, and please forgive me for being late, but we did have rain and thunderstorms. We didn't have internet, and they kept saying it was going to go in and out. And well, it's on, and hopefully it's going to stay on. How is everybody's Sunday going? My Sunday is going great. My Sunday is going great. Hey, Joshua. Heather McVeigh. Okay. Yeah, I see people had came in, but we had no internet. We we had no internet. We had a storm that came through. This isn't gonna be a long show. Um, again, as I tell people, all of us missing a few screws. Whether some people want to say it or not, everybody's got something. Everybody has something going on. Don't none of us, don't none of us have it all together, okay? None of us, including myself. I'm a 61-year-old female, two-time breast cancer survivor, and I am not okay. I worry that my cancer could come back at any time and just take me out. Well, I don't worry, but every time a new health condition or something feels different, that is the first thing that comes to my mind. It's my cancer back. Because trust me, I'm so thankful. But again, I'm not okay. And I'm going to come to you in the most realist way that I can to tell. Can't nobody tell my story but me. See, I was a love and spoiled child, so I don't have insecurity issues. I was taught that I was a shining star. I was beautiful. I was number one. Those y'all problems y'all got. Cause in my mind, I'm number one. Even if I hit rock bottom, even if I'm 61, no breath, no breast, no teeth, flabby stomach, what was embedded in me is I was number one. So that's y'all problem, y'all issues that y'all got that y'all need to go deal with. Cause ain't nobody better than me. We're all number one. I didn't have to build relationships with people, with tearing other people down, or still being on messy high school behavior as an adult. I woke up and I smelled the coffee. Ain't nobody, I mean nobody, going to love you the way that you can love yourself. That's why with this mental health, you got to think, you got to put it in your mind that you number one. I love myself no matter what. I'm flawed. You got to love yourself first. And then you got to pray. And some people, a lot of us need therapy. Okay? Hold on, let me speak to some people. Um, hey, Trendon and Buddha, I put my phone number. Somebody sent me a message and said, "Why did you put your phone number in the chat?" I said, "Because I know how to hang up on people." So if somebody called me, and if it's not who it's supposed to be, I know how to hang the phone up. Arts and Craft Channel, Trending Live TV, Destiny, Little Fallon, Heather, Buddha, Joshua, I Bring It, V Peachy, how you be? You keeping your eyes on the road? Kel's Universe. So right now, in my life right now, let me tell y'all what's going on. See, we had a fire in my building. You know, it started off with it being a leak to an electrical fire to us being told to pack clothes for 7 days. Till now we're in 20 days. I'm thankful. I got a roof over my head. The vacation over with. I'm ready to be home. Not knowing when I'm going to go home. Not knowing how long I'm going to have to be 50 miles from home. It's I started off so good. But now, I'm getting anxiety. So I've got a few videos I want you guys to listen to about mental health. Again, I'm not okay. I get up, I make my day, I make my destiny, and I set boundaries. At the age I am now, I don't care who you are. Nobody, and I mean nobody, family, friends, or anybody. I will not be around anybody with negative energy. Go fix yourself before you come for me. Because, see, once the beast is released in me, it's a done deal. And this ain't what nobody wants. Be aware of people. Again, You gotta be aware of people that really's got the mental issues. And these people come up with names for you, but they not looking at self. Those are the people you gotta look out for. You know, sometimes, like today, I'm not even watching TV. Watching TV can make you depressed. Seeing all the negative things on TV. Now, this first audio I want you to listen to, and it's telling you you got to be kinder to self. You have to take care of you first. Because ain't nobody gonna care about you. So you have to have yourself, your mind, body, and soul right. So when something happens, you can be mentally prepared to make it. As I've been saying in these videos, I've been okay. I thank God that I've been okay, that I didn't have to get on phones, I didn't have to do this, I didn't have to do that, that I was okay. But then you got to be aware that sometimes you might not be okay. And it would be nice if somebody would say, well, hey, how you doing? I just called to say I'm thinking about you. Another way for you to keep stable around a bunch of people that are no good, downright dirty, is you've got to set boundaries. You got to love yourself first. Don't let anybody talk to you any way they think they can. Start holding people accountable. I ain't got to always accept your apology. Ain't no more apology, accepting apologies no more. You know what you did. You continue to do the behavior. Stay away from me. You've got to make yourself, you've got to keep your mind, body, and soul all in one. So when you have to fight for your life, because ain't nobody else gonna fight for you. Hell, ain't nobody, people might not even come visit you or call you when you in a fight for your life. So you got to get yourself mentally prepared. You got to learn how to depend on self and your higher power. Now, this is a video I want people to listen to.
This story was written by Christopher W.T. Miller, Maryland. Your toughest mental health goal? Being kinder to yourself. Treating ourselves well is also connected with positive feelings toward others and gratitude about life. Facing the new year is rough, my patient told me. I take stock of my life, think about what I've achieved, and realize how far it all is from what I hoped for. She told me about troubles in her marriage, with her children and at work, all of which seemed to be going on forever. She would try hard all year to make improvements only to feel she was stuck in the same place. Except I'm a year older and with less energy. I feel like such a failure, she said. I used to make resolutions come January, then I started thinking there's no point. It just piles on the guilt when I can't stick to them. We can be hard on ourselves. We often focus on our perceived limitations and get caught in a cycle of self-reproach and criticism. This self-punitive attitude can distance us from others, as we might feel unworthy of or a burden to other people, increasing our disconnectedness and loneliness. This is mirrored by activation patterns in the brain. Isolation and poor self-esteem have been associated with altered activity in areas connected to motivation, reward, and stress response. Low self-esteem and social isolation go hand in hand. But the opposite is also true. Treating ourselves well is connected with positive feelings toward others and gratitude about life. A kind and accepting stance toward oneself can decrease psychological distress and increase resilience to difficult situations. Shifting our default away from self-blame can open space for a broader appreciation of how we ended up where we are. Behind feelings of stuckness and disillusionment is often a story of suffering, disappointment, and ongoing attempts to make things better. Create a kinder inner voice. Given the pressure many of us face to perform to our max and the tendency to compare ourselves with others, feeling less than when we don't measure up, it makes sense that our minds would quickly go down the self-criticism route. It can be easy to forget that our self-worth should not be a relative quality. Self-compassion allows for a more balanced perspective to emerge on our struggles, qualities, and circumstances. This might allow us to give ourselves a break instead of fueling that demanding inner voice that's never satisfied, no matter how hard we push. This inner voice often has an origin story. My patient linked her self-demands with her caregiver's expectations of her growing up. Without perfection, there was no love. I ended up seeing myself as a flawed person who could never earn their affection. When our inner voice is harsh, something more benign may need to be modeled for us to give ourselves permission to develop self-kindness. My patient commented on this during our psychotherapy work. It's easy to deal with criticism, since I expect it. It's confusing dealing with kindness. Over time, I realized there are other ways for me to treat myself. This work has provided me with a kinder inner compass. By broadening how we think of ourselves, we can see beyond the ideal life that has failed to materialize. The space between good enough and perfect will always be infinite. Cultivating a sense of accomplishment can lead to renewed appreciation for life and for the positive impact we have had on others. Self-compassion drives compassion for others. A softer self-stance can drive positive attitudes toward others, and a cycle of a different sort develops, one of understanding and connectedness. Cultivating awareness of our own emotions is linked with developing sensitivity and responsiveness to the emotional states of others. One brain area mediating this connection is the anterior insula. It is activated when we notice our own emotional and bodily state, and is involved in patterning feelings of connectedness, cooperation, and love when we interact with others. The greater the anterior insula activation, suggesting stronger emotional signaling, the more it helps recruit other brain areas involved in empathy and pro-social behaviors. In contrast, areas activated during social reward and connectedness may be under-recruited in conditions such as depression and anxiety, keeping individuals feeling alone and misunderstood. By better understanding ourselves, we can better attune to the internal states of others. With this in mind, there are ways of nurturing a more thoughtful and appreciative outlook. Practice gratitude, not entitlement. Being grateful promotes well-being and affects particular biological systems. For instance, by decreasing activity in some brain areas that generate negative emotions, and by lowering certain inflammatory blood markers, which can signal stress. When we focus on what we feel is owed to us but don't possess, it's easy to lose perspective, forgetting that many are enduring worse conditions. Being grateful not only increases life satisfaction and lowers stress, it also can curb envy and materialistic attitudes, lessening the need to compare ourselves with others or seek endless accumulation. Forgive others. While clinging to other people's transgressions might make us feel morally superior, it maintains a gap between us and others, obstructing connectedness and empathy. It also narrows our understanding of who other people are, as we may only keep the negative in mind when formulating opinions on them. Holding on to resentment and polarized views can have an adverse impact on health, while exercising forgiveness can enhance well-being. Forgive yourself. Showing grace to others is often easier than doing the same for ourselves. Life experiences can shape us to believe the worst about ourselves, feeling we've done irreparable damage to the world that requires lifelong penance. Stopping this cycle may involve acknowledging there is more to us than our flaws, and whatever shortcomings we might have do not define us, nor do they erase the inherent worth we all have. As the dependence on external validation lessens, self-kindness can become a much more reliable and effective asset. Christopher W.T. Miller, Maryland, is a psychiatrist and psychoanalyst practicing at the University of Maryland Medical Center and an associate professor at the University of Maryland School of Medicine.
See, you got to love yourself. You got to love yourself first. Hey, EL3, let me tell you, I'm not the same person I was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, hell, yesterday, because I'm still learning. There are a lot of people walking around that are hurt. They've been damaged. Hey, Buddha. Yeah, they're damaged. They've tried to live up to what other people's expectations are. They've set up and let people make them feel like they wasn't shit. Just because you might not have a car, you might not have a house, that don't make nobody better than you. Because first of all, you can't take them material things with you. Everybody has a thing, and that thing should be respected. Those people that are judging people always got something to say about people. They ain't shit. Because they're trying to take the focus off their insecurities, their toxic behavior, their dirty, low-down actions that they've done. And then they get people to go along and tell a whole different story. Those people ain't shit. And remember that. Look at them like they scums on the earth. Remember, I keep telling y'all, you number one. Again, be kinder to yourself. When you get to a point in your life where what people think about you don't matter, That's going to be your first step with freeing your mind, because too many of us want to be liked by people that don't even matter, that ain't doing shit for us. And you caring about what somebody think about you, I need you to stop it already for your mental health. Again, remember, you're number one. They talk about your problems, but they ain't talking about they addiction problems, they abusive behavior problems, their abuser behavior. They're not talking about how they done put hands on people, how they've talked about you to other people. But they make the story about them. Hey, Meta, how you doing? I know you a mental health person, remember? See, we all have something. Like I said, we all are battling demons. We all are battling demons. We all had to get past some childhood trauma, some things we saw in our childhood that we shouldn't have saw. Some people got to get past things that was done to them as children. They need healing. And hold on, I'm gonna. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna drop this link. I'm gonna have you come up. Mr. George, I remember you out of, you live in Texas. You're from Memphis. I'm glad you're here. The way I had to deal with a lot of things that was going on in my life was to cut some people off. See, I have no problem cutting people off now. I'm not putting no work into some dirty, no good ass people. We're done. Ain't nothing else to talk about. We're done. Especially if I told you from the beginning what I expect. Learn to cut people off. And be able to walk away and say, I can love them from a distance. But before I have you around me with your dirty, no good behavior, before I have you, before I have you always playing victim, cut them off. And you have nothing to feel guilty about. Don't let people make you think, oh, that's your family. Oh, that's your sister. Oh, that's your brother. That's your cousin. That's your mama. That's your daddy. Maritza, I dropped a link. Matter if you want to come up. See, if you gonna heal yourself because of years you sat back and you've taken crap from everybody, people that done things to you, you've looked at people treat friends better than you, help friends more than you. So when you decide to heal, I mean, you've been silent and you constantly been forgiving, and it's the same behavior. So when you release the beast, they can't take it. And I can be fine. You have to be fine with any decision that you make in your life. Like I've made a decision. I'm not going to fool with you anymore. I don't want you around me. I don't want you because you do this. And I'm sticking to it. You ain't got to worry about what, oh my God, if something happened, we wasn't talking. No. Everybody ain't your family and everybody ain't meant to stay in your life. And blood don't make you family. You have to have your peace first. You have to be healed and go to therapy or get on your hands and knees and pray to your higher power. Some people choose for family or friend restoration, and I hope this can be better. And some people take the route is we're done. I can't do it anymore. I can't work with this no more. And I can live with that. Don't let nobody make you feel guilty because you don't want to be around them. You don't want them in your space no more. Stand on your decisions, as Metasocials says, and protect your peace and your mental health. Your worst hurt is going to come from the people you thought loved you, cared about you. So, see, you got to be mentally prepared to deal with the trauma that these people gonna cause you because they gonna be to hurt you so bad that you ain't gonna know what to do. The hurt gonna be so painful because you thought they'd never do it to you. And then anybody that enables their behavior and not calling anybody out, making them accountable, I don't want to be around them people neither. If a person can't defend me, especially when I'm right and you cannot defend me. I don't want you around me. My trauma, what I saw in my childhood, some things I done had happen to me, some things I done dealt with, some of you people wouldn't have never been able to survive. For 2024, the year of everybody being exposed, I'm going to do the exposing now. Here is another video I want you to listen to.
This story was written by Gregory Scott Brown, MD. For ways to find and build meaningful connections for mental health. Connect with your inner self and others, explore forms of spirituality, and set boundaries to deepen connections. Feeling disconnected can be detrimental to mental health, but having connections, whether to other people, interests, and work, may not be enough. Many of us can say that we have close relationships with family members and friends, and are connected, often overly, to work, social media, and interests, but the quality of those connections may not make us feel fulfilled. Disconnection has been linked to loneliness and mental health conditions such as anxiety and depression. Some patients may need to be evaluated by healthcare professionals and could be helped by therapy and medication. Others may be able to make changes such as forming meaningful connections, which can lessen the disconnected feeling, help alleviate loneliness, reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression, and protect our physical and emotional health. As a psychiatrist who treats depression and has experienced it, I understand the negative effects of disconnection. Many of my patients talk about it. One of them, a working mother in her late 40s, said that she felt disconnected despite being surrounded by people. She said it seemed that she was watching every day pass by, like an outside observer, and described her life as mundane and purposeless. I feel disconnected from myself, she said. In my 20s, I felt similarly disconnected and alone after a difficult breakup and being unclear about my career path. Meaningful connections helped me get past my depression, and they have helped my patients, too. A meaningful connection is one that fosters a sense of belonging and purpose, and it can help us feel less disconnected and alone. There are several ways to create these connections, and not all involve being with people. Connect to your inner self. Develop a connection with your inner self. This can free you from seeking or maintaining connections with other people, things, and activities that may not feel nourishing. These are some ways my patients connect with themselves. Set aside time at the beginning or the end of the day to be alone. Do a walking meditation during a lunch break. Turn off the radio on the commute to and from work to be more present. Practice mindfulness. Journal. Connecting with your inner self also can help you identify meaningful connections. Think about the times you felt most alive and excited about life or open to possibilities. Ask yourself, what was I doing at those times, and who was I with? Or you can tune into your inner self's guidance by asking, what motivates me, inspires me, and allows me to feel peaceful and fulfilled? Those answers will point you toward what feels most authentic to you. For some of my patients, it is time spent playing with their children. For others, it is being absorbed in a sport or artistic activity, and for others still, it is taking a hike alone in nature. Connect with others. Some of my patients have families and friends, but lack a deep connection with many of them. I encourage them to assess these relationships and focus on the ones that have the potential for depth and understanding. Know, too, that others in your life also may be feeling disconnected, and that by spending time with them, you can alleviate some of their concerns. It can be tough to make new connections, especially as we grow older or are new to a place or are in a transition stage of our lives, such as going through a divorce or graduating. Common interest meetups, group therapy, and religious organizations are some places to find and form meaningful connections. It can take a while to find new people with whom you click. Try to be kind to yourself and be patient. Explore forms of spirituality to find ways to connect. A study has found connection to be a unique characteristic of spirituality, and one of my favorite questions to ask my patients is, what does spirituality mean to you? About half of them say, I'm not religious, but I think it's important for my mental health. Thousands of conversations with my patients have taught me that spirituality is not limited to religion. It is a connection to the inner self or external environment, or, if a person happens to be religious, to a higher power. One patient said prayer helped quiet anxious ruminations associated with post-traumatic stress disorder. Some studies have shown that functional abnormalities in an area of the brain, called the default mode network, have been associated with mental illnesses such as depression. Research has shown that people who engage in spiritual practices such as meditation, mindfulness, or prayer can potentially normalize activity in the default mode network. Some of my patients also describe altruism or selfless service, volunteering at a soup kitchen or doing something kind for someone, as a form of spirituality that allows them to feel a sense of connection and purpose. Deepen connections by creating boundaries. Once you have identified connections that hold meaning for you, take the time to deepen them by creating boundaries around anything that distracts from those intentions. Maybe you're working overtime to provide a comfortable life for your children. Or you're volunteering for extra projects or people-pleasing in ways that harm your self-care. Rethink some of those commitments so you can put some of that energy and emotion into what you cherish. Some other examples of boundary setting include taking an occasional mental health day, scheduling time for self-care practices such as yoga or reading a book, asking for help if you are feeling overwhelmed, and saying no when you need to. Sometimes setting boundaries can make you feel guilty because you feel like you aren't as available. Boundary setting, however, allows you to connect meaningfully with the people and things that are most important for you. In some ways, we are more connected than ever, yet many people still feel disconnected. Finding meaningful connection can help you find or regain your purpose and peace. Gregory Scott Brown is a psychiatrist, mental health writer, and the author of The Self-Healing Mind, an essential 5-step practice for overcoming anxiety and depression.
Hey, Mr. Meta, hold on. Yeah, I tell people, you know, don't get me wrong, I love the Lord. My higher power is number one. I have more of a relationship. You know, I talk to the higher power like maybe two, 3 times a day. But there are some mental illnesses that require medication. We can't pray about everything because there are things such as, you know, your hormones could be off balance. You could have a chemical imbalance. Hold on, so I'm getting ready to drop the link. I experienced bipolar the other day with a lady. And you know what I did? I just laughed. I didn't even let it affect me because I said, oh, wow. Oh, wow. I'm not mad at her because I know she has a mental illness and I saw it. And don't get this twisted. There's a difference from a person that has sat back and held a lot of stuff in and they explode, to a person that's been a dirty, manipulative person all their life. Those are two different people. And one is mental illnesses, one is just some people out here are just low down and dirty and got a bad demon. Everything ain't mental health. You need to remember that too. There is so much pressure. And I dropped that link, Mr. Meta. Oh, hey,
Hey, how you doing?
fine. Where you been? How you been? See,
Oh, I've been
this is what I'm talking about right here. I remember this guy. What 2 3 years ago,
right, right,
and I gave somebody a referral to contact you.
right.
I said, I know somebody right there in Dallas. See, I've made some good connections on social media, and I've made some bad ones, but more good ones than bad ones.
Correct, correct.
There are some great people, as I tell you all the time, that's doing some great things. This guy made himself available to help somebody on YouTube that was a complete stranger. See, a lot of times y'all on here faking the funk, doing all kind of stuff, and you got people right here that can help you when you going through something. See, if y'all wasn't looking, if you was looking for loyalty, not attention, a lot of y'all would be further ahead in life. If we start holding people accountable, this world will be a whole better place. Now go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm gonna give you the platform. Where did he go? Oh, okay. Oh, there he goes. Okay, you
Okay,
got the platform.
okay, and I want to say something. Let me announce this. On June 15th, I'm holding a big virtual Meta Men Summit. We're going to have several speakers coming in talking about men's issues. On June 15th, I have details coming soon. Banky Pound, who is a big YouTuber, is going to be speaking. I'll be speaking. I've got about 8 speakers. We're trying to address a lot of black men's mental health because for a long time we didn't address it. That's one thing I'm trying to do. Over the past 2 3 years, I've just been going through life, building my nonprofit. I had some personal stuff. I was homeless for a while. I've been down through it, but I still been keeping my nonprofit going and still trying to help people. But everything you said, I agree with. And one of the main points you made is about faith, about prayer. Prayer can be part of your recovery, but it's not your whole recovery. If your
No.
doctor tells you to take the medications, you need to take the medications. And we as a diaspora, as black people, have it so ingrained in our minds that mental health is either not real or a white man's problem. It's held us back.
Oh, he
And
a
like
little
what
special. He all
yeah,
right. Yeah, that's what we say. He
right.
just a little slow. He all right. No, they not all right.
Right. And we need to start dealing with that. especially as black folks. I know I'm pro black. I'm not anti nothing, but I'm pro black, and I'm just seeing, and as far as my work and stuff I've been through in our community, that's the one thing that if we address it, we gonna see our culture improve and our lives improve. Because I'm estranged from my family. I hadn't talked to my family in 7 years. Today is actually my oldest sister's birthday. You think I'm sending her a happy birthday message? No. Why? Because they not in my life. And you know what? I'm good with that because it was toxic. You cannot be afraid to write people off that continue to hurt you or put you in positions where your peace and mental health is threatened. I don't care if it is your mama. I don't care if it's your kid. You have to be able to
Mm-hmm.
walk away and protect your peace from whoever. No one, no relationship is worth your mental health or your peace of mind.
Oh, you better come on now. You
Nobody.
better come on.
Nobody. So that's the thing. That's really all we have in our life is our mind. And that's the only thing that we can really kind of have any profound effect over as a way to affect how we live it is to protect our mental health, our emotional health. Black folks need to be in therapy. I've been in therapy 6 years as a black man. I swear I love it. It has saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
I
don't
go
have it.
too.
Yeah, I don't have it therapy for white folks or why I tell folks all my problems type thing. Because you go to the barber shop, you don't tell everybody all your business.
And they ain't gonna do nothing but talk about you the minute you leave.
Right. Sometimes they talk about you while you're sitting there.
Yeah, as soon as you get in your car.
Yeah, so it's
Mm-hmm.
really, and the pandemic kind of opened up a lot in terms of uh dealing with mental health because we finally had to address it. But it's time to get serious about it. It's time for us as black people and for us as people to stop doing things that hurt ourselves and stop being resistant to medication and stop being resistant to therapy and stop being resistant to getting help because your mind is an organ. It's an intangible one, but it can be broken,
Mm-hmm.
it can be hurt. One time, I'm bipolar one. They did a CT scan of me, of my brain, and said it next to somebody without bipolar. It was totally different. This is not something that's an aberration. This is not something that's just in your mind. These are chemical imbalances. These are biological issues, and it's time for you to deal with them. It's time for us to deal with them.
And it's
Yeah.
not your fault.
It's not your fault. That's right.
It's
But
not your fault. And if
here's what,
anybody tries to make you think it's your fault, it's not your fault.
yeah.
You
And
know, and it's weird for women because you're talking about the men. Now I'm gonna talk about the women.
yes, ma'am.
We go through hormones. After we
True.
have babies, you have postpartum depression. Some
Hmm.
people can't move. You know, I could remember when they removed my breast. I had to go get on antidepressants. I went
Right.
to a whole dark place. I was looking at myself with no breast. I felt like an alien looking at these scars. Sometimes, too, I can catch myself, and sometimes I'll break down and cry.
Right.
So I had to get up and be my biggest cheerleader because I'm not getting ready to get no implants. I'm not ready to let them put anything in me. So I
Right.
had to get up and say, if they don't want me breastless, they don't need me. Cause I ain't going to get no implants or anything. If you can't love me for who I am and you know how I am, and most people know me, they know me.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
done fought for what I thought was right. I done defended people. I done did everything and I didn't get that same treatment in return. But it's
No.
okay.
As long as you keep moving forward and doing the right thing, that's all God wants us to do. We can't worry about
I
who's
ain't
what we
worried
trying to
about
keep.
it. This
Right,
is, I always give my testimony. The
right,
minute you decide that you gonna break the chains, cause I'm tired of hearing this and I'm tired of hearing that, or this ain't going on no more. You ain't getting ready to get to twist the story around with me. You ain't getting ready to do this no more. And the minute that we to take, when you decide to take your life back, is when you're gonna have to cut off so many people.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you decide to take your life back, they'll leave your life anyway. They'll
They
leave
gonna leave
because
your life, but see now they can't talk about you.
right,
They can't talk about you. They can't call people and talk about you. You
right,
ain't got to look at them treat their friends better than you.
right,
You ain't got to take no more of their abuse no more.
right. And the thing is, when you have to always remember this. You have to continue to work on yourself as well. Even though
Right.
you have time
And
to,
as you working on yourself, boy, you gonna realize, well, I love music. I've always been a happy-go-lucky person. Ain't nobody gonna take that from me. I'm so secure with myself. If I don't find nobody to go on a cruise with me next year, I can go by myself because I
right,
love me and I can enjoy myself.
right,
No new friends. I'm sticking with what's old and what I know.
right. And the thing is, you have to make sure that whatever connections you make are healthy connections.
Hmm.
Make sure they're not one sided. Make sure you're not being taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go through things that we've been through, especially in terms of family and cutting people off, it makes you wary of who you deal with.
Especially when you will give. You know, some
Right,
people are compassionate. Then you got some people that's selfish. You know,
right,
but when you come into the realization, I'm tired of y'all sugarcoating stuff. I'm tired of nobody not standing up for what's when somebody do something wrong. Y'all not holding people accountable. You got people calling the other ones toxic. They've been the only one. Even when you expose them, we sweep so much stuff under the rug. Oh, that's just them. No, it ain't just them. It's them and they dirty.
right. It's these family secrets that we keep holding on to because we want to be concerned about how our church members view us. Well, we can't talk about that. Just keep that in the household. Those kind of things are the things that's killing us. Because when you hide secrets, that means you're not dealing with the trauma that it caused. So you're not
You
dealing
know,
with it.
and you know, a lot of times you got people now they trying to rewrite history.
Right,
They'll,
right,
and baby, I remember everything. You got people that want to rewrite family history. You will get a person that died and they'll be them rewrote the history like they was the world's best child. They'll rewrite history like they've been the person that's been there all the time. But like you say, in the black community, all of us are mentally ill. Cause for one, a lot of this stuff been going on for generations. It's repeated cycles. You know, we think it's okay. We don't hold nobody accountable. And then when people want to call them accountable, then you want to call them the toxic people. No, deal with this. No, why your daddy got them outside kids? Or why your mama don't let them kids before your daddy come to your house? Those were before the marriages. We co-sign a lot of toxic behavior. Again, I said, why your mama don't like the child of kids that was born before they had your daddy's kids, y'all kids. You got sisters and brothers and aunties and stuff out here that you don't even know because they want to come up with the term of a perfect family. When you find out some of these kids ain't right, they've been playing doctor and nurse, you want to send them down south and then think they can come back home next year like it, and everybody acts like ain't nothing happened. I'm gonna give you the mic to talk because I need to go get. I'm gonna get me some tea. So you have the floor, Mr. George. Oh, is he still there? Some of y'all mamas and daddies was alcoholics and everything else, and you sitting around talking about the alcoholic. Oh, you there? Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
give
yeah.
you the platform. I have to go get me some tea for
Okay.
my throat. You have the platform. I'm muting my mic.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is, one thing that April said earlier was that your trauma is not your fault, and that's true. It's not your fault. But what can be your fault is if you have trauma and you don't deal with it. You don't try to address it. You don't face it. You don't deal with it. When you fail to address your trauma, it becomes your fault. So you have to be aware of it and go ahead and deal with the trauma, whether that is physical, medicine.
Okay, is that you trying to come in on another device?
It might be okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone now.
Okay, I got
Okay, let me mute the mic again. Go on.
you. Okay. Yeah. What is your responsibility is your trauma. Because one thing you have to understand, when you have trauma, you will be triggered. There will be things that will set you off. You don't know if it could be something as mundane as a certain smell. You don't know how trauma is going to affect you. That's why it's so important that you deal with it because it will affect your money. It will affect your relationships. It will affect your children. It will affect everything. We all know we got stuff that's on us. Instead of just trying to quote unquote get over it, which never works, you have to talk about it. You have to deal with it. If they find that you need an antidepressant, you have to take it. That's part of your health. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I have a heart condition. If I don't take my medicine, I'm going to be sick. I could die. It's the same with the mental health. A lot of people die from bipolar disorder. Men mostly die from bipolar disorder either as a result of suicide or one of the corresponding comorbidities that go with it. Mental health does not just affect the mind. It is the root of addiction. All addiction is just the response to unresolved trauma. All addiction is that. So imagine how many people you know that are overdosing on fentanyl and other drugs, and the cause root of it is a mental illness. We have to treat this like a public health crisis. We have to be on this like we was on COVID. We can no longer treat it like a character issue. We can't sit up here and tell folks, oh, you just need to go to church, run to church and pray. Yeah, if that works for you, fine. But prayer without work is folly. So you make prayer and your faith part of your recovery, fine. But you have to add in the therapy. You have to add in that the health aspect of eating right, of doing for yourself, of cutting people off.
Oh, I think we've lost him again. And then, oh, there he goes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was just my quick 2 cents on how to do it because a lot of times, see, here's the thing, April. When we talk about mental health, we always talk about the how and the what. I mean, we always talk about the why and the what, but we never talk about the how to get past it, how to deal with it, what steps to take. And until we start having those conversations and people actually start doing it, that's the only time things are gonna get better.
Yeah, and like I said, I grew up with mental illness. I mean, I wasn't mentally ill, but it's in my family, and
Right.
I've seen it, so I know what it's about, you know.
Right.
And then you start realizing how much damage or how much you was traumatized.
Right. Like you start to realize it.
Right now, with our building being, they displaced us 42 miles from home. I was cool at first, but now, well, I ain't never been homeless. I always had a roof over my head.
Right.
I
And the
ain't
thing
never
is,
been homeless. I've been able to
and,
pay the cost to be my boss,
right. And the
and I
thing is,
know
when
how
you
to
have
make it.
right, and the thing
Now,
is, a
I'm
lot of
not
people,
saying that taken from anybody else. Everybody's
mhm,
got a different path.
right,
Everybody's got a different path. But
exactly,
you, you dirty, low down people that need to talk about other people. Because even though you might can do the best thing that you can do in this life, you're going to still have somebody trying to talk about you. So that's why if you fall down 23 times and you get up 23 times, that's all that matters. So that's why you got to go to therapy, get your treatment, talk to somebody so you can be prepared for this battle because it's a battle. You got to get up every day and make sure your mind is okay. See, me, I try to get keep a happy attitude. Like I tell people, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. You've got to think that you number one. We've got to stop. And another thing too is you people, anybody, because I'm talking to people, mental illness affects all races, color, and creeds. You people that's ashamed of your family members that's got some mental illness problems, shame on you because they didn't ask for it. You sorry. You are sorry. Go ahead, George. I don't, Mr. George, are you there?
can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Now I can. I had you on mute. Now I can.
Oh, okay,
But I'm
okay,
giving you the show because I'm trying to do something. Like I said,
I
I'm
got
going
you.
through something right now that's done triggered everything in me because I'm
Right,
feeling some type of way because I was in the senior building. I didn't ask to be displaced 52
right,
miles from home. I'm thankful and I'm grateful, but that don't mean you're going to treat me like I'm nothing.
right, right. But let me say this to anyone that's listening. If you need a therapist or any kind of mental health resources, you can contact me at my nonprofit Mother Association. My number is 214-675-1177. Some things we're doing in the community. We've got food drives. I mentor at an alternative school. We got our men's summit coming up June 15th. So right now we're running a Cash App fundraiser to help fund these events. So that's in my tag as well. But if you need any help,
George, if you drop it after it ends, then you can people know how to get in touch with you. And I just thank you because, like I say, 3 years ago I met you, and you helped a person down there in Texas, and it was unbelievable. They called me and they said he showed up. People, when you meet people that are good people, and there is a lot of good people in this world, you're gonna be all right. In the top picture, what you put out is what you gonna receive. It's 192 in life. I don't know where George went. We still can't hear him. But I want to wrap this up. Anxiety. You know, anxiety is on the rise. We looking at social media. We're looking at stuff on the news. We're seeing everything. We're just seeing a whole lot, and we're taking it in, and it does mess with your mental health. It messes with your mind. Anxiety. I deal with anxiety. It's deep. You know, I have to get out. I have to go. I can't be confined. I have a life. I'm gonna keep going till I can't go no more. And if my spirit irritates you, you can just stay away from me. And okay, there's George. So George is having connection problems, and I'm getting ready to get off here because I've got to find me something to eat. And his owner. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Mental health affects everybody. We're all missing a few screws. When you feel yourself feeling down and out, please call somebody. If you feel suicidal, there are hotlines. There's hotlines to everything that's going on in the world. There are support groups. You can look those groups up on the internet. There are people that truly care about your mental health. There are people that want you to be healed. There are people that want you to get past the trauma and live a normal life. There are agencies, there's people, there's more studies showing it's a chemical imbalance. You didn't ask for this. Some of it is genetics and runs in the DNA too. And stop letting everybody say, oh, they crazy. No, you're not crazy. You have a mental illness and you need to be treated for it. This is April Showers. I hope you learned something from this show today. I thank you for joining me. Peace. Okay. This is in 1908.